It's 8:33 right now, and tomorrow we will pause to reflect and remember the lives of nearly 3,000 people who died at Ground Zero on 9/11.
As we mark the 23rd anniversary of the attacks, we also come to terms with the heartbreaking reality that more firefighters continue to die from 9/11 related injuries and other first responders as well. Joining us this morning is Lieutenant Jim Brosi, president of the Uniformed Fire Officers Association. So, Jim, good to see you this morning.
Thanks for having me.
You were at Ground Zero, right, on 9/11, 23
Yes.
years later. I know the day never gets easier, right, when we come to honor those who lost their lives. What are the feelings that come up for you as we approach?
I think some level of disbelief, right? It's hard to believe something of that magnitude occurred. Hard to believe the level of loss that we've sustained since then. And despite knowing the area was filled with a high level of toxins and contaminants that would harm us in the future, it is still hard to believe the number of people we've lost since 9/11.
Yeah, and you were down at Ground Zero with your dad, Lieutenant Joe Brosi.
Correct.
And we're so sad to say that he passed away last year.
Correct.
Of a 9/11 related illness. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened with your dad?
My dad had served over 32 years with the New York City Fire Department. He had spent an extensive amount of time down at Ground Zero. Somewhere around 2015, he developed lung cancer. He had fought a very good battle for nearly 8 years. Thankfully, through the help of the World Trade Center medical program, he was able to gain access to some of the finest treatment through Sloan Kettering. And despite having a dire outcome in 2023, I'm thankful to say that he was able to process his treatment very well, and he was able to enjoy those 8 years of his life despite the outcome.
Yeah. Well, sorry for the loss of your father.
Yeah, it's a tremendous loss.
For you, do you have any health issues?
I have what I would consider all of the similar related health issues that most of us have. Sinusitis, GERD, skin ailments, things along those lines, but thankfully I haven't diagnosed with anything life-threatening or more serious.
Yeah, it's so sad to say that each and every year there are more names that are added to the FDNY 9/11 memorial list. How heartbreaking it must be for you every year to probably lose a lot of friends.
Yes, that is the problem, is being around for a long time. You start to know more of these people personally, being part of the union. You're more involved in the process as they start to decline in health. And it feels more personal with every loss. I mean, reaching the number of 370 members who have passed since 9/11. I was informed yesterday that an EMT who had only retired within a year had passed away from lung cancer yesterday. And like I had said yesterday, the issue is people only see the numbers. They're not seeing the suffering along the way. They're not seeing the number of years that people are giving back with compromised health, going from scan to scan or treatment to treatment. And there's not a lot of life in between those years we're recording. And that is insanely problematic. But without the help of the 9/11 healthcare funding, I'm not sure where these people would be. I'm not sure they would even be able to afford the healthcare they're being given right now, despite the level of suffering they're experiencing.
And that was a battle in itself, right, to get that?
Yes, it seems to be an ongoing battle. I mean, we battled in 2010, we battled in 2015, 19, 22. They added some recent funding.
Yeah.
Fortunately, right now, Senator Gillibrand and Representative Garbarino have actually put forth a bill, a 9/11 survivors and responders healthcare correction act that would permanently fund the bill.
Right.
So in which case, even though the bill extends out to 2090, they have not put in the proper funding to allow the money to meet the time frame.
Yeah.
So this hopefully would be the last time we would have to go down to D.C. and bring sick and dying members to prove the point that these people are afflicted from illnesses from the exposure they experienced.
Yeah, well, you certainly are. The FDNY, New York's bravest. You are the ones running in as folks are running out. So how can we help you?
I would ask everyone to call their local congressman and ask them to support the bill. And if they can, sign as a co-sponsor. I think we have 49 states with affected people from 9/11. It's not just about responders. It's about the 130,000 people in the program. It's about the people who volunteered. It's about people who flew in from out of state, people who drove buses here to work on the pile. Despite not finding many survivors after 9/11, we certainly found many victims. And we gave a lot of people closure and dignity. And for all of those people who dedicated their time or just happened to live within the area that was contaminated, I think that's the very least we could do for them.
How many people did you say?
130,000 people enrolled in the program.
I mean, think about that. It's not just a few people. 130,000 people still in the program. So make those phone calls. Jim, thank you for coming in this morning to talk about it.
Thank you for giving us the attention it deserves. We appreciate it.
We will never forget.
Thank you.